Hey guys, how many of you noticed the amazing border coverage of Breitbart? Have any of you noticed? How are we doing? Are we doing okay? Yeah, I'm the border editor. I've been writing about that border for a long time. And it wasn't until the summer of last year that it really caught like wildfire. And that was when we published 43 photos of Border Patrol detention facilities in the Rio Grande Valley sector of Texas. How many of you remember that? But check this out. What was weird about that is other people, you know, I'm 38. I've been writing about it for a number of years, but there's a lot of people who have been working on the border issue for a very long time. But what was different last summer, in June of summer, what was different? What happened that made it such a big deal? Why did the country look at it all of a sudden? Do you know what happened? What happened is it jumped the barrier. It jumped the barrier. Like today, and I don't want to offend any of you if you're really into the Bush brothers, I'm terribly sorry. But if you look at today, what Breitbart and what Stephen K. Bannon, who's our executive chairman, and Peter Schweitzer, what they did is they have a book coming out about, it's called Bush Bucks. And who did they break that story with? With the New York Times. It's our story on the New York Times. Now how does that happen? The Hillary stuff, all of the Hillary scandals with the money and the Clinton Foundation. We broke that on the New York Times. Now why, that's crazy, right? It's insane. But what happened on that is I published those photos and Drudge put it up, and that was great. When that happens as a conservative journalist, there's nothing better than like Michelle Malkin tweets out your story and Drudge puts it up. That's like, it makes your day, you know? And it makes your boss's day because it means traffic and people, and when people say, well, those autoplay videos and that you're too focused on traffic. Do you know how we have the money to be on the border all the time? Because we have resources from the reporting. That's how we do it. You know, that's what we do. So what happened is Drudge did it, everyone looked at it, and then the Huffington Post made it their lead story too. And so I began to realize something. I said, wait a minute, man. I said, you know, not only is that open border hurting us, because it is hurting us. How many of you looked at Breitbart today? Anybody look at Breitbart today? If you get a chance, go to Breitbart, Texas, and check out our report. And we all know this happens, but we're finally able to prove that a number of Mexican cartels were working with U.S. gangs all the way from Texas to California to Oregon, manufacturing methamphetamine in the United States. There's like 24 people or 27 people indicted. That's the kind of reporting we can do because we have resources. And we have resources because all of you go to our site and you share our stories. And that helps us have the resources to fight back. But what I began to realize was that not only is the open border unfair to us, and not only was it unfair to Brian Terry's family, but it's unfair to the people from there. It's not right to them, and I'm going to tell you why. If all of us were stuck on an island together, right? Imagine all of us are on an island, and we have a horrible situation, and the only people in our group who had the courage to do something to better their situation, or the ability to, could just leave the island. Would our island ever get better? No, we're not. It is not humanitarian to be in favor of an open border. Liberals think, now here's what they think, I'm going to tell you what they really think. The intelligentsia of liberals, they know the only way they're going to turn southern border states blue is by allowing millions of people to come from socialist countries south of our border. That's what they're doing. But the average liberal does not look at it that way, people. The average liberal actually thinks, and not only the average liberal, but half of the Republican Party actually thinks that they're the loving one. They're loving people by letting them come here. Let me tell you something. How many of you ever heard about our project called Cartel Chronicles? Has anyone in here heard about that? Awesome, I'm glad. That's one hand. That scares me though, because I'm going to tell you why. Here's what we did, okay? Not only do we have impeccable, proven sources all along the southwest border, and federal agencies, local law enforcement. We publish leaked documents all the time. We were the first one in history to publish the numbers from the entire world who were coming here for the last 5 or 6 years. You know, and how they got caught, whether they got caught coming in an airplane, or whether they got caught by customs, you know, OFO, or whether they got caught crossing in between ports of entry. We have impeccable sources, but now we have impeccable sources in Mexico. And this is what we do. Like you guys, below you, it's a mess. I could get into that forever. But below you, you have the Sinaloa Federation, okay? They are professionals. There's crazy stuff that happens, I know, but you have older men in position who they're thinking about the money for the long term. They try to avoid doing things that hurt them, that benefit them in the short term, right? That help them but that will hurt them in the long term. We don't have that in Texas. We have the Gulf Cartel and the Los Zetas Cartel. There's a bunch of 22-year-old guys high on cocaine and meth running those organizations. We have something very different than what you guys have. You guys still have some journalists in Mexico who are telling the truth. Some. We don't have that anymore. There is a blackout region from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to about the halfway point in Texas. And that's a 1,200-mile border. So you got 600 miles of blackout, media blackout. Journalists don't report on the cartels. Every outfit, every news outlet, they listen to this. They have what's called a link. Have you ever heard this? They have a link. The link is someone who works for the cartel who tells the journalists what they can and can't write. Now, does that sound like freedom to you? No. Right. So I'm telling you what, anyone in Mexico who has the courage to stay in their own country, not violate our laws, and try to better their country, I'm all about that. I think that's awesome. All about it. And here's what we found. We found that even though the cartels, the Zetas and the Gulf Cartel had killed all the journalists who would challenge them, there were still people on social media reporting on them. We earned their trust by going there and doing courageous reports, me and Ildefonso Ortiz. It was scary as hell every time we go. We earned their trust, and now they work for Breitbart. They work for us every day, and people get mad at me because they're like, why did you write that in Spanish? And I'm like, dude, you gotta understand the strategy. We publish their words. These people are going to die possibly for what they're doing. So instead of 200 people hearing what they're saying, we put them out to millions of people. And we publish the words in Spanish and in English almost every day. Now that's the kind of grassroots stuff. We talk about border security, and the next time a liberal tells you, well, you're like a Nazi, you don't care about, it's like, no, you don't care about people. Where is your reporting on what goes on in Tamaulipas, in the Mexican state of Coahuila? Where is your reporting? What are you doing to help those people? Because we're actually looking at the border as a holistic issue, and we're trying to actually help not only the people here, but the people there to secure that border, to stop what's going on. Mexican cartels control the flow of illegal immigrants into this country. 80% of the women and girls who come from Central America get sexually assaulted. That is unacceptable to me. Unacceptable. Now, when you talk about here, we reported this last year. The state of Texas in general has reported over 2,000 previously convicted sex offenders per year, just in the state of Texas alone. I can't get the numbers for Arizona. Think about that. You know, think about this mess that we're in. So when we report on this issue, we take this issue very seriously. After I leave here, I'm not going to tell you where, but I'm going to somewhere on the 1,200-mile border of Texas. I found a village where there are 300 people missing because a particular cartel took them. And we're going to go there, and we're going to tell you people what's going on there. And we're going to raise attention on those criminal bastards who are doing this to our country and their country. And we can't do it unless you guys keep coming to our site, keep sharing our stories, and understand that we are writing from our hearts. It matters to us. When Andrew hired me, when Andrew met me, I can tell you my life story. You don't want to hear it. It's too long. It's crazy. I promise you it's crazy. But when Andrew met me, I was under attack from left media like you would not believe for something I had done in my life involving the FBI and a bunch of Palestinians, long story. But they hated me. It was kind of interesting. And they hated me. They made movies about me. PBS and George Soros made a movie attacking me about these two innocent bomb makers who were just trying to protest George Bush when they made bombs and tried to hurt Republicans and cops. All this crazy stuff. But here's the deal. Andrew found me, and he defended me, and he had no benefit to defend me. But he defended me because he felt like I had done something right, and I was being done wrong by the media. And if you look at Breitbart's coverage, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we've done for Border Patrol agents, because we started to look at that and said, man, these guys are being treated wrong. Everything wrong. One guy does a month out of an agency of 22,000 people, and that's all that gets reported when they save lives every day. You know, they stop convicted sex offenders from coming in every day, literally every day. And so we started to defend those people. And that's what we do. We figure out how the left is attacking people and we defend them, whether it's people trying to fight the cartels in Mexico, people on the U.S. side trying to protect the property, regardless of what it is. So you guys keep coming back and keep sharing those border stories so we can keep reporting, because it's so important.
Stargo, pigs outside want to know. The most famous one.
A little exciting for them.
To have a Breitbart gathering, and then they turned our mic off because we're Breitbart News. The police have come out, and now they have a helicopter for our group of people. But take a look at the group of people. Take a look at this. Look at this radical group of people.